Well, this is where tonight we're going to upset a lot of college and university administrators and a whole bunch of folks who've spent a lot of money building one of the biggest, untalked about, in some quarters undiscovered bubbles in this economy. We all remember the technology and the internet bubble that burst in 2000, the housing bubble that burst in 2007 and 8. Well, there is another bubble that is growing unchecked. We've seen college tuition rates rising at more than twice the rate of inflation for the past 3 decades. Student loan defaults, and forgive me, if you've got kids in school and you have hawked yourself to support their educational attainment, you're going to be really upset with what I've got to tell you here tonight. But we've got to come to grips with the reality in this country, because we're supporting institutions that are now being led mindlessly in a direction that it is, well, amongst other things, in addition to creating massive debt for our young people, another source of massive debt, and creating debt for their parents, their families, we're also destroying the institutions that are behind this bubble. We're looking at defaults skyrocketing during this economic crisis, and prospects for college graduates, work, jobs have tumbled to truly troubling levels. Not enough people are talking about it, and certainly not parents and the young students who are going away to college. We have today even more sobering evidence that the higher education bubble, and it is a bubble no matter what anybody tells you, is headed for a bust. Public university students paid more than 8% more for tuition last year than they did in 2011. That is a record increase in tuition, and it is just continuing what has been a decades-long trend. It comes as state aid for public universities fell by 9%. It's a record decline, and in some cases, state tuition has risen by such a staggering amount that the costs are very similar or more to what public university students are paying to what students are paying at a private college. Here's one example. In-state undergraduate students receiving financial aid at Penn State University, they pay, are you ready for this, $21,000 on average. Students on financial aid attending Harvard University pay on average $12,000. There are a lot of factors that go into that disparity, but there is an example of what we're talking about, and the problems are only getting worse. Public university enrollment now. Enrollment is up 12% from 2007. 12%. The amount of student debt in the country has almost tripled since 2004. It is approaching, are you ready? $1 trillion. More than the total amount of credit card debt in the United States. Almost 40 million people. 40 million people have student loans. The average debt runs, are you ready for this? $25,000. And what are they supporting? The institutions that are effectively out of control in what they are charging for their services. This is made possible thanks to the federal government supporting with almost without restraint rising prices in public education. Yet half of all Americans under 25 with a college degree, are you ready, are either unemployed or they're working in a job for which they're overqualified. So if I may, I'd like to leave you with this provocative fact to consider. A 2-year community college degree costs about $6,200. A bachelor's degree from a 4-year private university goes for about $158,000. And according to a Georgetown study, nearly 30% of Americans with associate's degrees earned at community colleges, 2-year schools, are making more than those who have earned a bachelor's degree. This is a bubble worth worrying about.